Fallon, welcome back, guys. And BN, can we get a tea tutorial? About the same tea as you. Can't get it to taste right. I'm from the tea, so tea isn't... I'm from the States, so tea isn't really big over here. BN, what are you doing wrong? Why don't you tell me how you make your cup of tea, and I'll see if there's something wrong in there. Yeah, well, you see, the first thing I thought, which somebody already mentioned, when you said you're from the States, immediately my head went to microwave. If you're microwaving your water to heat it up, then you're already doing it wrong. Is he hidden? Where is he? ONJ Bean. Are you here? Where is he? Here he is. No, I don't microwave my water. I have a coffee pot that boils water. Okay. What's the next step? Well, that water doesn't taste like coffee, does it? Do you put coffee in the coffee pot? Won't it just taste like coffee then? If you're putting water in it? That's a good point. Does the water get hot enough? He doesn't know how a coffee pot works? Never had coffee. I've never drank coffee. I've had like a sip here and there and confirmed that I don't like it. It really shouldn't matter how you heat up the water. But it does. And the number one thing that matters about it is, are you heating it up enough? Number one with the coffee pot, it might have a coffee taste. Number two with the coffee pot, it might not be heating it up enough. Your water needs to be boiling. So when you have a water kettle, a tea kettle, a kettle, when it's ready, that water is boiling in there. Like it's boiling water. If you don't get boiling water out of your coffee pot when you put the water in there, then that's not good enough. You need the water boiling. Then, only then will you get true coffee once you put the coffee in. And the tea, once you put the tea in. If the water is not boiling, then the rest of the process does not matter. You have already failed. So, step one, boiling water. Step two, put it in your coffee cup. Your tea mug! Put it in your mug, your cup, whatever. You put it in with your tea. Unless, of course, you're doing it with a big tea maker. Like a big tea, a big one. Then you put it in there, a teapot, and you put the tea in there. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about a cup. Put it in the cup, you put the tea in the cup. And then you need that to soak. You need that to, there'll be a word for this in which I do not know. You need the tea to brew in that water. The water needs to brew the tea. Then, next, and honestly, it doesn't have to be that long. You know, get a spoon, stir as well. You're good, you know? Whether you have it in there for, you could have it 5 minutes, or whether you have it for just a minute and a half, I find is still good enough, you know? And then you do a dash of milk. I personally like quite a lot of milk with my tea. If I'm doing if I'm just making a quick cup of tea because I'm streaming, I will leave because it's quick, I will still leave the tea bag in. Some people find this to be a sin, but when I put the milk in, I will leave it in then, because I just figure like it'll soak a little while I'm drinking and just kind of get a little more out of it. But if I'm removing it because it's been in long enough, I will push it, when I pick it up, I push it against the side of the cup to see all that brown come out, to really get the most out of it. Throw that away and then put in the milk. Yeah, exactly. I let the bag stay in. It'll flavor it up for the following minutes as I'm drinking it. It's fine. And then you drink it. And that is how I make my cuppa. Is it worse that I reheat old coffee in the microwave? Anameo, fuck you. As a British person, I agree with Tio. Very good. The Brits are with me. I usually twist the string around the spoon and squish the bag so all the flavor comes out. Yeah, I don't think you need to be tangling your string around a spoon to do that. All you do is just the back of your spoon, push the bag up against the wall of the teacup and just squeeze. And then pick it up. Do a little bit of an extra squeeze on that side, and then you're good to go. Also, my man Bian, who asked me for advice here, said that he's got the same tea as me, which is Yorkshire tea. Yorkshire tea doesn't come with strings. Yorkshire tea is just the bag. What if your TO accidentally turned cold? Don't you put it in your microwave? If your tea turns cold, then you have failed and you have not drank it. If so, go make another cup of tea. In my experience, what I try to do to reheat it is heat up a little extra water. But if it's come to the point where it's turned cold, it just doesn't taste right if you just put in more water then. You need to make a new cup of tea. If you're past the point where you already have milk in and it's turned cold, it'll just taste like shit if you then put in more hot water. Or you can just microwave. No, that is for the criminally insane. We do not microwave. We are not those kind of people. We are above that. Are 4 sugars bad? Yes. That is terrible. You must take that amount down. You don't need sugar in tea. Tea is good as it is. As someone who used to drink tea with sugar, I'd have 1 spoon in. One day I just decided to stop. 2 or 3 days later, and many daily teacups during that time, I was fine without it. You think you need sugar. You don't need sugar. Unless you have lots of sugar in all of your daily foods and drinks. And if so, then then this is a bigger issue than simple sugar and tea. I mean, like, I hear horror stories of Americans having a shitload of sugar in their bread. I imagine it's very hard to not have sugar in your tea then, if you're just that used to sugar that your bread is all like sweet tasting. Now, with that said, a cup of tea with sugar can be really tasty. I just don't think it's healthy to have it every day. So I, for example, if I ever walk past an espresso house when I'm in the city, I buy a chai latte. And I will tell you, there's a lot of sugar in that. So there's nothing wrong with having a sweet drink every now and then. I just don't think you should do it as your daily drink. You know, because I, for example, have maybe 4 cups of tea a day. So if I add sugar in each one, that's a lot of sugar I'm adding to my daily diet. 1 tablespoon with tea doesn't make any difference if you're drinking like 400 milliliter of water. Not true. If I put a teaspoon of sugar in my cup of tea, it very much, I can taste it. Oh yeah, definitely. I don't understand how you don't think so. If you're used to like 6 spoons of sugar, then yeah, maybe you can't tell when there's just 1 spoon. I have a cup of tea like once a week, maybe, and I load it up with sugar. Yeah, go for it. You do you. I mean, that makes sense to me. If you're having it once a week, that sounds lovely. No, you see, I don't like adding, because like I think you just need to designate what is your unhealthy drink, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with having unhealthy drinks, like having a soda. But for me personally, I don't want everything that I consume in the day to be unhealthy. I'd like to know when I'm having something that's unhealthy. Like, or I'd like to, like, you know, like when I get a Fanta, I know I'm having a shitload of sugar, that I'm choosing to do that. But if I'm getting up in the morning and I immediately have a cup of tea, I'm not gonna put a bunch of sugar in that, you know? I want that to be a nice, healthier drink. With that said, a good cup of chocolate milk can be lovely. Yeah. This was a lovely discussion on our diets, guys. Well done, everyone. That was fun.